Hey guys, Hook to Clash here, and today's video is going to be Abnormal Armies Episode 4, and before I explain to you what the actual army is, I'm going to let you look for yourself. I'm going to give you 1 second to look at it now, because holy moly, this is the most abnormal army I've done yet. I didn't actually think it would work, I kind of did it for a bit of fun, so as you can see, this is Queen Charge Skelly Barrel, or Mass Skelly Barrel, whatever you really want to call it. I'm going to go with Queen Charge Skelly Barrel. And yeah, honestly, when I thought about doing this, I'm like, well, there's a seasonal troop. Let's just give it a go. What's the most ridiculous way we can use it? And I thought, well, let's see if we can use it as like the back end of an attack. Skelly Barrel does have its kind of place in like the competitive scene a bit for like funneling buildings. It does a really good job of that. But as the actual main troop in an army, surely it doesn't work. So as you can see with the spells here, I kind of brought the spells that you normally see for like a TDH. So for those who don't know what a TDH is, it's like a Queen Charge Lalo, but you bring no haste for the Lalo. You just bring all the spells essentially for your Queen Charge, try and Queen Charge the whole base, and Lalo what's left. And I kind of had this similar approach to this where I was just going to Queen Charge as much as I possibly could and see what would happen on the back end if I just used the Skelly Barrels to clean up. Now as you can see here, This is the sort of base you normally see in Legends. This is my third attack of the day. So we're just going to quickly start up the attack. And what I'm thinking here, as I do every time when I see this base, is my goal with the Queen Charge. I'll get my get the pen out. My goal with the Queen Charge is kind of just to Queen Charge this part of the base. I might actually switch to red for you all. Pink, sorry. My goal is kind of just to Queen Charge this. And then normally if you're coming in with a hybrid, you'll just like hybrid all of that, right? And I was like, is that too ambitious? Is it too ambitious for my queen and or for my Skelly Barrels, sorry, to get all that? And look, because you're not bringing any headhunters with this, it makes these starts to the charge very dicey. But as you saw there, I didn't really show it that well, so if you missed it, go back. I actually used a couple of Skelly Barrels to tank for the queen. They're quite useful with the Queen Charge, just to tank for the queen, whether it be a single, whether it be, I was very lucky to not have to pop ability there, but I have to pop her there. They're very useful for tanking like single Infernos in particular. So if you're Queen Charging into a single, you can use it there. As you can see, we've come in with triple super wall breaker and we've used all of them. I'm just giving my queen as much access as possible now because she's kind of through the worst part of it. It's just about using the last two rages. Now, as you can see here, I'm bringing the Stone Slammer at this stage. I'm bringing the Stone Slammer kind of to funnel and tank it in air defense, and then it's just slowly reinforcing the Skellies, and then I'm actually going to use the RC with the Skellies, because as you can see, the Skellies are going to do a great job of tanking for the RC, and basically I just want to see if I can overwhelm the base. As you can see, I've used almost all of my spells already. I've just got one rage that I'm going to use left. I was bringing a drag and 5 loons in my blimp, just because it seemed most appropriate, and there we use the rage spell, and the skeleton barrels are doing good damage, and they actually move through the base really quickly with the rages, because if you're not raging them, they are actually very slow. As you can see, my queen dies up the top side to that single, but we've still got quite a few skeletons on the bottom side. But as you can see, a lot of bases have like back end splash damage, like the mortars, the wizard towers. They do absolute work to this army. It's quite weird. Normally they're like one of the more useless defenses with like hybrid when you're sort of doing this style of Queen Charge. But as you can see, we're going to have just enough here. There's no back end air defense, and look at all these Skellies in the core. Look how quickly they're about to go through this wall. Fortunately, the healers actually can't do anything to keep them alive because, you know, the Skellies get one shot. And the drag actually dies here, but look at these Skellies. They beat through that max wall so quickly. There's actually so many of them that the Warden is following. Like, look at this. Like, it doesn't feel quick, but that is a max wall. That is a max wall that has 13,000 hit points or something like that. I can't actually remember the exact number. So there is a bunch of them left alive. They're just going to push through the back end. So as you can see, this worked. This was my third attack, and I was 2 out of 3 at this point. Now, I didn't show the first triple that I got with the army, because I think the first triple I got with the army, A, it wasn't a very good base. It wasn't horrible, but not a great base, and B, it was more about the Queen Charge than the Skelly Barrel. But I think that attack actually showcased that Skelly Barrels, they're not as strong. Obviously, if you pulled that off with the hybrid, it'd probably go better. But I also only had 1 rage for the Skelly Barrels there, whereas the hybrid, you normally need a couple of heal and sometimes a freeze as well. So that's kind of the benefit of it, right? So we saw like, it's not the most overpowered thing ever. We still needed an amazing queen charge to do it. But we did get an idea that it can actually be, it's viable. It can triple bases without the queen having to take out the whole base for it to triple, if that makes sense. So as you can see, this base here is actually a base that Itsu made popular quite a few months ago. If you're wondering how to take it out, by the way, with just like hybrid, you start with the queen down here. Normally the single's on this builder hut, and you just send like a bunch of balloons onto the single once you dealt with the CC, like I'm about to now. Stupid super minions, by the way. One of them goes after my healers, so I actually I use a freeze. It's not a freeze I wanted to use at all, and that's actually a freeze that I will need later on in the attack. So unfortunate there. Anyways, as you can see, we're just gonna tank this single with Coco Skelly barrels. As soon as we see the queen go left, we're going to use the king to funnel, plus he's going to get rid of the royal champion there. And look, these Skelly barrels are doing a great job at just tanking the single. I haven't had to use a rage for my queen here, and I won't have to. She'll get through this first single basically untouched. Haven't used a rage either, but this base is dangerous in this part of it here, because as you can see, there is so much damage all at the same time, and I don't do a very good job here. Normally I would have a headhunter, and I wouldn't have had to burn that freeze there. Unfortunately, also, because we use so many Skelly barrels, we're going to have to pop the queen early there, because the eagle does lock onto the queen. So I just try and start the attack quickly here, and we're actually going to go half times, and I'm going to show you one of the main weaknesses of Skelly barrels that I learned in this attack. So as you can see, the Skelly barrels are in. You don't put all of them. I wasn't putting all of them down at once. I was kind of, sprinkling them in. But as you can see, A, the multis wrecking them. B, the bomb tower wrecked them. But C, the Skellies haven't really got any traction so far, and going straight into the air defense and multi and sweeper has been bad news. But it gets worse. We're going to go in half times, and watch this. So obviously when the Skelly barrels... Oh, we missed it. We missed it. Actually, I know this isn't very professional for the video, but we are actually going to jump out, because I have missed the most important lesson that we learnt from that. So we're just going to fly through the first little bit. Sorry about that if you want to skip the next 20 seconds, basically, and we'll be at the part of the attack. But anyways, just to recap, the charge has gone okay so far. Skelly barrels are nice, tanking. King's set a good funnel. The queen went... I would have preferred her to go left, but that's okay. And the Skelly barrels should be coming in any second now, as soon as my queen pops. So yet again, starting them on a bomb tower is probably dumb, because this was obviously going to happen. But you see, I get like 20 of them down, and I put my warden. But the buildings here are either high HP or they're a bomb tower. Now look what's happened. So this sweeper that we can see on the far left side here, has pushed all these Skelly bombs back, the ones that haven't opened, behind my warden. My warden's actually in front there. Now, because the Skelly barrels come out their ground, look what this air defense right here is about to target. We're going to watch it. Look what it's about to target. It shoots, and look at it. It's hitting my warden, and I haven't realized this yet, because it looks like my warden is safe. But suddenly, out of nowhere, my warden ability pops here way earlier than I was intending it to. And that took me by surprise, and I wasn't expecting that. But this is one of the downsides of the Skelly barrels. A, the Skelly barrels are ridiculously slow, and your warden can often get in front of them. B, that's exacerbated with a sweeper. But C, the most important part of all is the Skelly barrels release ground troops. So if you're running an air warden, because I think you do have to run an air warden with this, if you're running an air warden, you have to be so careful that you have like a spread of your Skelly barrels, but B, you need to like slowly add them in. You can't put them all down at once, which makes sense anyway, because you don't want all your skeletons dropping on the one building, because otherwise one bomb tower wrecks you. Unfortunately, we did lose our queen way too early. I should have put an extra rage on her, but we will just go through the rest of this. But as you can see, we are still going to get a solid chunk of the base. There's not like too many major defenses left, but not close at all. A low 50% attack. And I think that this was the most I learned from this about this army in this attack. More so than the other 7 attacks I did today. The fact that the Warden can be so easily targeted was frustrating. And also just, even though we had it on half times there, I think you all saw how slow they were there, especially going into a sweeper, so that was unfortunate there. Anyways, we're coming into this attack yet again. The plans I normally do for this with a hybrid, you just like try and queen charge that. Literally that. And you can normally, you won't get it 100% of the time, but you can normally get pretty close hybriding all this, because there's not a lot of key defenses left. You've dealt with the CC, 2 heroes, Town Hall, and double scatter. That's pretty good value if you ask me. As you can see, we're about to come in here, and yet again, we don't have headhunters. I would recommend, if you wanted to take this seriously, bring headhunters. But instead of headhunters, I just have to use Skelly barrels. This is quite funny. It's just so dumb. Look at the king and queen, got absolutely melted. I had to use a few too many Skelly barrels for my liking, but what can you do? One downside of these Skelly barrels is the ground Skellies don't actually lure the tornado. I know the tornado traps on this town hall. It's always like it's either here, right in the middle, or one tile left or right of that. And I know it's there, but I don't want to wall break the town hall yet, because if I wall break the town hall, then I'm going to activate it. So I was waiting, but unfortunately, because I'm about to wall break it right now. Yep. It pulls the tornado later. But luckily, it's not too much bad news for my queen. It's just unfortunate. If I had a headhunter, I think it would have activated the town hall, the tornado, without activating the town hall. I use my king to help my queen out because I need to force her in here. Thankfully, popping the king quickly allows the queen to go back in. And then yet again, we're going to just focus on the Skelly part of it. The queen does okay, by the way. I do have to use all my spells on her, but the queen does okay. Now this time, I'm still using my RC with the Skelly barrels at this point, but it's during this attack that I realized that maybe it's better to use her elsewhere. Yet again, Stone Slammer's done a nice job. It tanked an air defense and it set up a really good path. I saved a few extra Skelly barrels for the bottom of the base, and they're trying to clear out that the Wizard Tower and Tesla Farm down there. And look, this attack actually looks kind of wrecked at the moment. My queen is still alive, I believe. Yep. She's still alive on the top side, but look at this Wizard Tower down the bottom here. Takes out at least 100 Skellies and the bomb tower, and suddenly this attack has gone from wrecked to we're not going to get it quite. It's still close, but this single's just going to take out my queen, which has made her way through the top side. She did a really good job, but unfortunately we just couldn't quite make it to this single. If we get this single down, this is absolutely a triple, but I don't even think we put any damage on it. Yeah, we haven't put any damage on it. So that's unfortunate there. So the main thing I learned from this attack is, whilst it's nice using the RC in like the core, if for instance, right, if we zoom out and we actually pause it here because the attack's about to end, there was like a Tesla farm down, or a few Teslas down here with this Wizard Tower. If I'd set my RC down here instead of the Skelly barrels that I sent, and set those Skelly barrels in the core with my main push, this RC would have cleared all of this, and I reckon she could have got that Wizard Tower. And I reckon if she gets this Wizard Tower, this is potentially a triple. So it's another new thing I learned from this attack, that it's not always best to send your RC with the actual push. Some of the time it can be better. Some of the time it can be better to use her on the flank to take out any outside splash damage. Because a lot of the time on bases you see, like look at this base for instance, a lot of the time on bases you see these Wizard Towers, bomb towers, and mortars obviously are all on the outside of the base. And they're all threats to the back end of the Skelly barrel attack. So if you can save your RC to clear the flanking defense on the back end, then you're in much better shape. Now this attack, this isn't actually going to be about the Skelly barrels, this attack. This is going to be about why this attack is honestly, in my opinion, as powerful as it is. And it's not like that powerful, obviously. But the reason this attack is as strong as it is isn't because of the Skelly barrels. It isn't because of the RC. It isn't because of the Stone Slammer. It's because you have 13 spells that you can use with the Queen Charge. You have 3 super wall breakers. You have, Skelly barrels are reasonable funnels. Same as the king. You have unlimited funneling, essentially, as well. Unlimited Coco Skelly barrels, too. Like, this attack is about the Queen Charge, and I'm going to show you how strong you can make the Queen Charge with this attack. Now, obviously, that's not the main reason I did this attack, because if I wanted to show you how powerful Queen Charges are, I'd just do a TDH, which is just a Lalo on the back end, because obviously Lalo is stronger than Skelly Barrel. This was unfortunate here. I tried to send these skeletons in to get this multi, because I knew it'd be flanking. But yeah, look, the multi kind of wrecks the skellies, and the skeleton barrels couldn't quite take it out. I think we get it here. Yep, it finally goes down, but I had to use like 10 skeleton barrels there, so that's like 50 troop space kind of gone like there, so not really worth it, but for the sake of the attack, it was a bit of fun. As you can see, we run into another super minion CC. These things are so annoying. I have to freeze the headhunter because I wasn't sure my queen was going after it. Probably didn't need it in the end, but I don't regret using it. Then we're going to use our Stone Slammer on this bottom side to kind of get all this splash. I actually thought this was a smart idea at the time, but I realized what I should have done is use my RC where my Stone Slammer is now, and then use the Stone Slammer with the actual Skelly barrel push. Unfortunately, my queen beats a horrible wall at this stage, like literally the worst possible wall, because I was trying to get her into the core. I wanted to wall break on the sweeper or the CC to try and take all that out, but thankfully the Stone Slammer just opens up a massive path for my queen to the town hall, and I'm going to use my RC on the far right hand side to keep funneling her in. But the Skelly barrel push has kind of come to an end. They have pushed nicely down that flank, but look, the scatter shot's kind of wrecking it. Like with these attacks, you kind of need to account for literally both the scatter shots with the queen charge, otherwise the skeleton barrels will suck. If I had known that the queen would beat the wall and go the way she did, I could have delayed the skeletons a bit more, but I didn't know that, obviously. This attack's actually going to end up being a time fail, by the way. As you can see here, 50 seconds left, and there's only a single up. So, like, the skeleton barrels didn't get, like, a whole lot, but they got, like, nearly enough. If they got this single down, this is for sure a triple. But because the single stays up, it does end up being a time fail. Unfortunately, my queen goes around the wall here, and I wasted my last super wall breaker. We'll just skip 4 times through this. Tornado goes off. We pop our queen to get through this wall and get the single. And as you can see, this is a time fail. There's literally no defenses left up. So, like, that was a pretty solid base, by the way. That's a tough base to get in Legends. So the fact that we were able to get as close as we did shows that the attack is useful. But I think, like, if we're going to go back into that attack actually quickly. I think if we talk about what each section of the attack actually did, right? The queen got literally, she didn't get the outside defenses there, but I think, oh, she kept going, didn't she? She kept going. Like, the queen got literally all of that, right? She got all of that. It's a weird sort of path for her, but she got literally all of that. Like, that is huge value. And if you were bringing like a Lalo instead, like expecting your Lalo to get that much, we could have used our RC to get this much. The Stone Slammer did get this in the end, and the RC kind of got all of this. But expecting your Lalo to get that, your Lalo would get that 10 times out of 10, right? So, whereas the skeleton barrels were only able to get that. So it shows kind of that the skeleton barrel isn't the strength of this attack. Ultimately, it is the queen charge. But the skeleton barrel is fun. I honestly had a lot of fun with this attack strategy. Except for that one attack where my warden got targeted, because I had no idea how that happened. Anyways, as you can see here though, 243. This got more cups than most of the other abnormal armies. We will get the data spreadsheet up in a bit, but look at that. I'm actually in reasonably high legends, by the way. I ran into a lot of reasonable bases with this, so I was pretty happy to go positive on the day. I didn't think I would, and as you can see, towards the end of the day, we didn't get as many triples as at the start, but I also, all of my percents at the end of the day are above 80. Whereas in the first half of the day, I had a few low percent attacks, obviously, because I'm getting used to the army. But towards the end, we got better and better with it. So, like, this attack has hope. But anyways, we'll jump to the spreadsheet now, and we can kind of talk about, you know, how we compare this to the other armies we've done. And it should be sitting right there in front of you. And as you can see, so this is the second highest trophies I've gotten from an attack strategy. This was better than Mass Super Witches. This was better than Bat Lalo, and this was better than Super Valks. Now, obviously, getting more trophies than those 3 crazy attacks isn't the most difficult thing in the world, but like, I didn't expect this to be as strong as it was, especially because the skeleton barrels, fundamentally as an idea, just don't make sense. They're an air troop that becomes a ground troop, so it's kind of hard to get the most out of them. As you can see, we actually had a high starting trophies as well, particularly because it's early in the season. 3 triples, and I ended up rating this as high as I rated the Electron. Now, the Electron got many more trophies, and a couple more triples, but we started at a much lower point, so that was to be expected. So I was kind of impressed with this. Now, if I had to sum up why this attack is good, like 5 of the 7 part of the rating would be the Queen Charge. Any Queen Charge attack in Legends, I think, is strong, and would be minimum 6, because even if you use like Queen Charge Barch, you're going to be able to get the occasional triple just because Queen Charges are that strong. But the Skelly barrels, 41 skeleton barrels, I don't think anyone could ask for a more abnormal army. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this attack strategy. Would you give it a go for a bit of fun? And obviously, as per usual, comment on some of the abnormal armies you'd like to see in the future, and if you're still enjoying this series. Anyways, that's going to be all for today. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I see you soon.